And we're back. Episode 42 of In-Laws and Out of Bounds. Welcome back, everybody. We appreciate you joining us here. We have a loaded show that we are going to get into today. We're going to be talking about opening weekend of baseball. We've got some Rangers talks. We've got some wildest stats by the numbers for the entire league. So we'll kind of do a little bit of around the horn there. We're going to get into some Final Four talk about the crazy games of the Elite Eight that we had. We had some blowouts. And then he had a crazy game like UConn coming back from 19 down, winning on a last-second shot. We'll get into that. Emilio will break it down for us there. We have some outrageous college football quarterback rankings since the 2000s. And ESPN is out of their mind. And I think we've figured out that we just have to come out here and say some wild shit to get on, to make it viral. I think that's our next step here is just to start saying outlandish stuff to keep up with it. And then we'll talk a little bit about Tiger Woods' unfortunate incident and give our opinions there. And NBA, we got, running to the end of the year. April 18th is when the playoffs start. Seeding's pretty much locking up. We got really heated MVP race going on still. And, yeah, that's it. Emilio, you got anything for the folks?
You can have any beer you want as long as it's a Corona.
As long as it's Corona. Unless it's a Miller Lite. So,
why'd you bring the Buster here?
But we appreciate you being back. Before we get started, we want to make sure that we shout out our sponsors, the best damn bird hunters in all of Texas, Brewster Bird Hunts. It doesn't matter if you're one hunter or 100 hunters, they're going to take care of you every single time. If you're serious about going out and getting limits, make sure that you contact Landon in the group over there. They're going to take care of you. They got the best dogs, the best guides, the best birds around. Doesn't matter if it's dove hunting, upland hunting, whatever that you want to get on, they can put you on it. So make sure you go give them a follow on Facebook and Instagram. If you go over there, tell them the pod sent you. We appreciate it. And check them out at www.brewsterbirdhunts.com. We greatly appreciate them. And make sure to follow us on social media. I always almost forget that. I always forget to shout out the socials. We're on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that good stuff. We'll put out shorter reels of the episodes if you can't stay for the whole thing. If you don't want to stay for the whole thing, we've got it all here, and you can go check it out. We appreciate the support that we got there. One of the most viral clips that we've gotten so far, well, our most viral one, it was about Sam Darnold and his tax, the luxury tax thing. That one was huge on Facebook. We had a lot of elder people that were upset about that, in California more specifically. Got a little political. We didn't mean to do that, but recently it was about soccer on Instagram.
Soccer? When the hell did we talk about soccer?
No, we didn't. I just posted a little thing when I saw it because I needed some content to put out there, and it became we got quite a bit of stuff going on there, surprisingly. So, anyways, that was unsurprising. We are not going to talk about soccer. Maybe when the World Cup comes around, I get a little United States feeling going on. Maybe we can continue the trend here with hockey and the baseball, and maybe the soccer team can win the World Cup.
I doubt it.
You doubt it?
Yeah.
No Neymar for Brazil? Is Messi still playing? What about Cristiano Ronaldo?
I mean,
what about Wayne Rooney?
We're not very good at soccer.
Unfortunately, we're not. I don't know what our problem is. We should have put some of our baseball players out there, I guess. But anyways, we'll get off that. Okay, let's get into some baseball. What do you say about that? Want to do that?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Transition time. All right, so opening weekend is here. The Rangers, they are looking different than what. I guess not what we thought, what we hoped, right? So they went into Philly this weekend. They had a 3-game series, and they come out winning the series. The first game, they went and they took 2 or 3, basically, and start the season with a hopeful series win. And we're seeing glimpses of what we wanted to see going forward and what we were missing last year. So game 1, we went down 5-3. The Phillies got us. Sanchez went out there. He's their ace for Philadelphia. He struck out 10, tossed 3 hit ball over 6 shutout innings. Schwarber and Baum hit Braum. Landon's going to kill me for this. I'm sorry. home run. Jake Berger hit a 2-run home run in the ninth to make things a little more interesting, but the Rangers were just not able to get anything going. As a team, they went 8 for 35 and had 11 strikeouts. Nathan Eovaldi pitched for us there. He went 4 2/3 innings, had 8 hits, 5 runs, and 7 Ks. The bullpen came in, pitched the rest of the way in at 3 1/3, had 2 hits, three strikeouts. So really, that first game was kind of a little worrisome. Sanchez came out there. He was pitching really well, had it around. He had everything dialed up. The Rangers were having a hard time, really getting anything going, and it was a little worrisome. If you look at it, you saw glimpses of what we were lacking last year, and I think that made really, everybody a little nervous as it was. The Phillies had it going. It was amped up, obviously, opening day. So it was tough. But going into game two, it was something that's, to be seen. It really, lightened the mood for everybody around, I think. Berger and Seager each homered, and Texas recovered from a three-run lead in the ninth to win 5-4 in the 10th. They almost blew it, there at the end. Jacob Latz got the start. Jacob deGrom, unfortunately, he's going to need a little more time to come back from that injury that he's been dealing with over the summer. But he was a scratch 2 hours before the game. So seeing your ace not be able to get out there and go was unfortunate. Just needed a little bit more time. Woke up a little stiff. But it is good to see Jacob Latz. He's normally a bullpen guy. Doesn't come out of the, he was able to get in there and go. That's a lot of good things that you see there. The Rangers were unable to put it away there and had to go to extra innings there. And the back of the bullpen is a little more worrisome than the front of the bullpen, especially with the Lats in there. So it was good to see there. He went in there. He tossed a three hit ball over 4 shutout innings, had 3 Ks during that time span. So that was definitely the big part there, that you could have Jacob Latz. And then the bats started getting going too, right? You were up early. You just weren't able to put it away. They were able to go in there in the 10th inning and get it done. So nice to see that going. They only built on it in game 3. Mackenzie Gore, he was the big story here. He struck out 7 in his first start for Texas as they beat Philadelphia 8-3. Brandon Nimmo and McCutchen both homered, and Gore was able to toss 5 hitless innings. He didn't get a hit until the leadoff hitter was Crawford. I think it was Justin Crawford's his name. There at the leadoff in the 6th. So, and then he was able to fan Harper in the 6th. That same inning, they had bases loaded. He fanned Harper and then left the game after that. After Baum came out and got him, took him deep and made it 6-1. They took him out. The bullpen came in, finished the rest of the game. You got Carter that got the win there. So really, really good to see what happened there. You're getting a lot of runs, 8 runs, 8-3. Great to see. They went tonight and they played Baltimore. They got the win there. I believe it was 5 to. Before I lie to you, let me verify. 5-2. Yep. So 5-2. Biggest thing here is there was no home runs, and I think this is what a lot of people are wanting to see. Is there wasn't a lot of home runs, or there was no home runs here, right? There was a lot of bases or runners on base, and they were able to bat around and keep innings going, make that pitch count go up, and get people in, other than having to send the ball over, the outfield walls and all that kind of stuff. So that was one of the biggest things: getting hits, getting around. Leiter threw tonight, and I believe he threw. How many innings did he throw? He threw 6 innings. He had 5 hits, 2 runs, 8 Ks. They had 1 home run off of him. And then Alexander came in. He got the save. He threw 1 inning, 2 Ks. No hits, no runs, no anything. So it's great to see that come out and the way that they're going. Obviously, turning around from an 8-3 win where you score 8 runs, being able to come out, score 5 runs, and then hold a Baltimore team that has some new firepower there to only 2 runs and continue this streak. They're 3-1. You're leading the AL West right now. Obviously, it's 4 games into the season. There's a long way to go. But it's really good to see that you've got that firepower. You've got those, you've got these guys really running. It looks like Brandon Nimmo, who you went out and acquired from the Mets, somebody that was sought after, is really going to be he's that key piece to the front side of the lineup. the top of the order there. That's going to get on base, get guys going, and then McCutcheon on the back end as well. He is, Landon told me, I mean, right, he hit better last year than most of the Rangers did on the whole roster, and him adding that veteran leadership coming in here and being able to continue that. After he hit that home run, he was telling the crowd in Philly, they were going, they were basically like, what the hell? Because he played for the Phillies from, I think it was like it was a while ago. It was a couple years ago, but he played for them for 2 years. Wasn't the same, player that he was in Pittsburgh. And that was where I had a little bit of worrisome going, him coming in, he's older. Yeah, you want somebody that's veteran that can help these guys get going. But he basically was, telling the crowd, I'm sorry, after he hit it, because he hit a laser to the left, man. I mean, he smoked that thing. I don't know if you saw it, but it's great to see the Rangers going, getting these things going. You want to see them continue it. You got to get out to an early start, get these wins stacked up early, because most of the time you do get into, the dog days of summer to where, you may have an injury or two. You got to battle through some stuff, and it's just great to see. So Mackenzie Gore, him coming out pitching like he did yesterday, huge win for the Rangers there, getting somebody in that starting rotation that can come in, throw those innings. He threw 6 innings, get out of that jam, get, bases loaded, all that kind of stuff. It's fantastic. So, yeah. You watch any baseball this weekend, Emilio?
Yeah, I watched tons. I mean, I was locked in, really. No, I did not watch any baseball. I did put in a slip, and I hit. I guess I know ball. Did you tell Landon about that? Because I feel like
I forgot to text him and send it to him. Why don't you go ahead and tell the folks back at home what you did there? You got it available?
Let me see here. Let me just pull that one up, because that one was a thing of beauty. So I had the Rangers beating the Phillies. They won 5-4. I had the Reds beating the Red Sox. They won 6-5. I had Vladimir going over half a hit, run, or RBI. He had one. We're good there. I thought DeGrom was going to pitch, and I recognized the name because you'd said it a couple times. I said, this guy must be worth something if we're talking about him. He didn't play, so I didn't have to worry about those. And then Sonny Gray, after all that shit I talked about him, he decided to come back and throw over 4.5 strikes. Juan Soto, another half hit RBI and run. And then your boy Shohei came through in the clutch and decided to be an Owen.
Yeah.
Just like I picked. And that was a $3 turned into 20, just like that.
Just like that. If I keep saying this, that Emilio needs to have his own little betting corner segment on this. And I think he'd feel a little more comfortable when we get into football season, more than likely, on some of this. And maybe it's something that we could do there. But I think, Emilio, just from you not having a true bias in baseball, you may be able to do pretty good here. Now, I think we need to go a little heavier on the $3. Imagine if it was $300, right? You could have,
listen,
grand there.
They're not all winners. Sometimes you count on Aaron Judge to do something on opening night, and he decides to shit the bed once again. So,
are you gonna stack up these $20 winnings and then throw it into one big pot? That's what you need to do.
Well, that was the goal. I was killing it in March Madness, and then I kind of lost my ass a little bit this last weekend, so I got to build the reserves back up.
Who'd you pick and what'd you do?
Oh, I got way ahead of myself. I picked a UConn upset, but I also picked for the wrong guys to go off, so that kind of got me. I got creative. I thought Purdue was going to pull out an upset. They didn't. It looked good for a half. So, I mean, I did all right, but not necessarily what I did. I broke even on the weekend, so.
I think what we need to do is our listeners out there need to let us know, do you want Emilio to have a little betting segment? And it could be on anything, you know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily have to be on baseball only, but maybe there's some good parlays in there that you can bring to the folks. You can do a little bit of research. You're a numbers guy, you know what I mean? Statistically, you can look at numbers and break it down, get a little spreadsheet out, and then give the folks something to look forward to going into the weekend or something like that. Let us know if you want to hear that from Emilio.
The problem with the numbers is that the numbers are there. Numbers are there. I can read what numbers are telling me, but then my heart and my mind get involved, and that's always telling me something different from the numbers.
You can't gamble with your heart whatsoever. You got to put that thing away. You know,
Listen, when my heart told me that Florida was going to lose that Sunday, I listened to it,
yeah,
and it worked out.
yeah. If I
But
listened to my heart, I'd have my life savings on Dak Prescott winning a Super Bowl. So
I'd love to see the odds on that.
here we are. Hey, anybody gives you 10,000 odds, take them,
You
man.
take it.
You take them. So that's there. We got a little off there with that, but no, Rangers looking great. We really happy to see it. But a little baseball around the horn. I've got some stuff here. I've got by the numbers, the wildest stats from MLB's opening weekend here. So I'm going to start at the low, go high, basically. So one, the runs scored by the San Francisco Giants through 91 at bats. They rank last in average of a 143. Their OBP is 212. Slugging is 176, and then OPS is 388. So they'd come off a really bad performance. They got shut out twice against the Yankees. They went 0 for 3 in that. The Yankees beat them 7-0, 3-0, and then 3-1 for opening weekend. So they did all that crazy stuff for Netflix, beautiful national anthem, all that kind of stuff, and they got shut out 7-0. So good job to San Francisco there. 3 games in which Cleveland Guardians rookie Chase DeLauter and Chicago White Sox rookie Muntaka Murakami, I'm going to get killed for that, have homered to start their MLB careers. They're the 4th and 5th players, respectively, to go deep in their first 3 regular season contests. DeLauter's streak ended Sunday night, but I can't. Hey, you say this for me. Murakami.
Piece of fuck out of me.
Some Chinese shit, I think. Can tie Trevor Story's MLB record his next game, so he still has a chance. 5 RBIs for New York Mets star Lewis Robert Jr. through 3 contests. He needed 18 games to record his 5th RBI in 2025. So way in the black there, starting off this season. 6 calls by veteran umpire C.B. Buckner overturned by ABS during Saturday's Cincinnati Reds Boston Red Sox game. This includes back-to-back strike 3 calls that Cincinnati's Yurgo Suarez successfully challenged in a sixth inning at bat. Did you see that anywhere online? So it was pretty hilarious. So CB is pretty notoriously known as making some bad calls behind the plate. There was a lot of fans that during that game, that was the loudest moment that they cheered when he got overturned twice. So he's pretty notorious there. But basically, there was one that was really low down in the strike zone and it missed, and he immediately taps his head, and he was about 0.3 inches off the strike, off of it. And that's the whole. You know how they make the box, right? Essentially, where the strike zone is. The ball was completely out of that, by 0.3 inches, essentially. And then the very next pitch, he threw a ball outside, and it was about an inch and a tenth to the outside, and he taps his hat right away, and he gets overturned twice back to back, and the fans were going crazy over it. So CB did not have a good day that day. He was out of the 8 calls that they challenged, 6 of them got overturned. So
it sounds like he's the Scott Foster of the MLB.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. So he's not nearly as bad as was it Angel Hernandez? I think that's the one. He doesn't umpire anymore either, but he was terrible. So I think it's Angel Hernandez. Anyways, 7 number of teams since 1901 that have started 3-0 after trailing by multiple runs in each of their first 3 games. The Los Angeles Dodgers joined the exclusive list by accomplishing the feat against the Arizona Diamondbacks 3 times, becoming the first team to do so since the 1999 Giants. So the Dodgers, they're coming. 8 plate appearances by Joey Weiner has made in a Washington Nationals uniform, and also the number of times he's reached base in 2026. Weimer's streak ties the expansion era record, which is since 1961, for consecutive PAs reaching base with a new team. 9 home runs hit by the Los Angeles Angels currently tops the majors. The Halos hit just 2 in their first 4 games. last year en route to a 90-loss campaign. Trout hit back-to-back home runs in each game. I think he's up to 2 or 3 right now. He's looking pretty well. He's healthy, it seems, and I guess Team USA may have been able to use that bat, but insurance things, right? 18, number of plate appearances it took the Houston Astros star Jose Altuve to draw his first 5 walks of the year. For comparison, it took him 92 PAs to reach the same mark 1 year ago. Man, he's real short, so you know what I mean. It's hard to.
Hagen, I'm gonna have to add what is a PA?
PA
Public announcement.
Plate appearances.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
He'd be at bats, whatever.
I'm not gonna lie to you. You rattled off one stat there. You said OBS and IBS and OPP, FDIC, and I had no idea what the hell you were talking about.
You down with OPP? Oh, man. 20 innings it took for the Giants to score their first run of the season, tying a franchise record set in 1909. Giants are off to a hot start here. 22. 22. Age of Reds first baseman Sal Stewart, who reached base 10 times during Cincinnati's first 3 games. At 22 years and 112 days old, he's the 3rd youngest player to do that in MLB history. 23. Combined strikeouts notched by Toronto Blue Jays starter Kevin Gausman and Dylan Cease. Gausman and Cease are the first teammates in modern era to each strike out at least 11 batters in their team's first 2 games of the season. They both lead the league. I think both of them lead the lead in strikeouts right now. 50 strikeouts recorded by Blue Jays pitchers during their sweep of the A's. That's the new MLB record for strikeouts by a pitching staff through its first 3 games of a campaign, 4 more than the 2020 Reds. 67.5. Paul Sking's ERA after 1 start in 2026, the highest among starting pitchers through a Sunday. The reigning NL Cy Young winner didn't make an out of the first inning on opening day against the Mets. He got pulled really early, and it wasn't his fault. That's center field. Did you see that at all?
Mm-hmm.
You see, I mean,
yeah, I did see that.
They left his ass out to dry, man. That center fielder. So poor Paul Skeens, he's got a lot of ground to make up there. And then 2009, the last time the Miami Marlins, then known as the Florida Marlins, got off to a 3-0 start before this weekend's a season opening sweep of the Rockies. So, let's see. That is your wildest stats by the thing. I wish I had none of this is working. I wish I had like a crazy tune for that, but didn't work. So now you have some homework to go do. You can learn, what OBS is and OPS and all that good stuff. And you can come back and you can report to the class when you figure it out.
You could have been making shit up for all I know.
I promise you I'm not. There's all kinds of different stuff, You look at, slugging and all that kind of stuff, which we're talking about slugging. I think both just some Ranger stuff. Nimmo and McCutcheon are over 1,000 on slugging right now. So that's a 1 before the decimal there. So there's all different kinds of stats in baseball that you can get into that they talk about it.
How are they over 1,000? They just played 3 games. Goddamn.
McCutcheon's he's hitting 440 for the weekend. Now I don't know what he hit tonight, so that could have changed, but doing pretty well 3 games in.
What's that old boy that plays for the Dodgers? Will something. Will Smith.
Mm-hmm.
That old boy was on a streak there for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep. And Freddie Freeman, he still got it.
Freddie Freeman still got it. Man, they got a lot of dogs out there.
They were just messing around with the Diamondbacks and then decided to really lay it on them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. They're a good damn team. I'm glad you followed the money and picked them because hey, look, the Giants have a score tonight. They're in the middle of the third, and they're up on the Padres 1-0.
Looky there.
Oh, looky there, man. They have 2 runs scored in 2026, so don't worry about that. Phillies got their rears kicked 13-2 against the Nationals today. The Braves beat the Athletics 4-0. The Cubs beat the Angels 7-2. Tampa Bay beat Milwaukee 3-2. You had the Chicago White Sox beat the Mariners, the Marlins, excuse me, the Mariners, 9-4. Talked about the Rangers. The Royals beat the Twins 3-1. And then you've got the Tigers and Diamondbacks. They're knotted up at 0, top of the first. And the Guardians, Dodgers are 0, top of the first. Yankees are down 1 to the Mariners right now, bottom of the second. Rockies are all over the Blue Jays 14-5 in the bottom of the ninth. And then Mets are leading the Cardinals 4-2, the bottom of the ninth. And the Astros are beating the Red Sox 7-1, bottom of the seventh. So a lot of baseball going on tonight. There is, will continue. It'll be every day until
November.
Maybe for a long time. So, anyways, good stuff there. Hey, I will say, since we're on the baseball before we move away, NCAA softball, man. I've been watching more softball than I should, just because my daughter's gotten into the coach pitch. There's a lot of good softball out there. The Aggies were able to finally come back. They had a series this weekend against the Longhorns, and they dropped the first two games by a run each, unfortunately, and then they beat the Longhorns 9-7 yesterday to end Texas' 29-game win streak on the season. But I will give some props to Texas. They have a catcher named Reese Altwood, and she is a badass, man. I'll tell you what, if you want your daughter to watch, a softball catcher, man, she faked out a girl at second. She got the ball. She faked out a girl, throwing a girl out at second, only to almost basically no look to third base and get a girl out that was running, that was standing on the baseline. I mean, it was one of the greatest plays I've seen a catcher make. And she came out the next inning, hit a freaking dinger too. I mean, she's really good, really good. So if you want to watch some quality softball, Texas, they're ranked number 1 in the country for good reasons. They've only lost 2 games this season, but they're a really good team. A&M's a really good team. Kennedy Powell, the leadoff hitter for them, is really good. They've got some good pitching that's going on. They play some really solid defense, so A&M's good. Tech's really good. LSU's good. Oklahoma, a lot of SEC teams are like some of the best. Arkansas was playing South Carolina. There's a lot of really good softball being played out there. So Mississippi State's good. Don't watch Ole Miss. I mean, they're okay. They're competitive, but I don't think they've won an SEC game so far. So, but Oklahoma, I said Oklahoma. Yeah, Oklahoma's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyways, there's some good things there to be watched. So anyways, let's, and baseball wise, I hadn't kept up nearly as much. So sorry, but the Aggies were doing pretty well there for a little while. They're still ranked 25th. They beat Missouri yesterday 14-3. So, but anyways, let's talk about some basketball, man. Some college basketball. We have a Final Four that is locked and loaded. You've got Illinois and UConn going to be playing in the first game of the Final Four. Illinois is favored by 1.5 points. And then in the second game, you're going to have both number 1 overall seeds, Michigan Wolverines, taking on the Arizona Wildcats, and Michigan is favored by 1.5 in that game as well. So a lot of folks are saying that Michigan Arizona is going to be the national championship game. UConn doesn't look like a team that is super heavily crazy. They don't necessarily have one guy that they go to, it seems like, but that Illinois team, man, you're gonna watch out for them. They seem like they're playing pretty good ball. What did you see this weekend in the games? I know Michigan whooped everybody. Really, pretty much forgot the other games because that UConn game was so wild. But what did you see this weekend, and what do you think going into Final Four?
Illinois, they took care of business against Iowa. It was a competitive game for, the majority of it. Iowa just didn't. Illinois is a very dangerous team because they can shoot. They can shoot really well, and as long as they're playing defense at an average level, they're a hard team to keep up with because they can catch fire. They play really well. They have a couple of different guys that can shoot, and they're a dangerous team. No, I mean, there's no way around it. They were just able to outgun Iowa. Iowa, they were shooting the lights out to start the game. They actually had a lead going into the half, and that second half, Illinois is one of those teams where you can't stay hot for a half. You have to keep on playing. You have to keep on shooting. as good as you did. And Iowa cooled off, and at that same time, Illinois started to heat up, and it was a runaway after that. So that team they're scary, but they're also, when you're a streaky shooting team, at some point your streak runs out. Does that happen this weekend, or do they stay hot the rest of the tournament? That's to be determined. UConn will probably give them a bit of a tougher test than Iowa did, because UConn has a very big center that can play, just very physical basketball and really take over a game, which can pose a problem for Illinois. UConn is fine with slowing the game down. So I think really in that matchup, what I look forward to is seeing what tempo Illinois is able to play at against UConn and seeing how UConn responds to it. They struggled a little bit with Duke in that first half because Duke plays fast. Duke's one of those teams that likes to push the ball up the court. They've always been a team like that. And UConn kind of took a little bit to get their footing underneath them, but once they finally got it, it took the whole thing to get there. So that'll be an interesting matchup. If I'm Illinois, I think I want to push the ball. A lot of these Big Ten teams, they really slow the game down, and I think that'll play into UConn's favor if they do that. So Illinois is going to have to stay hot. Man, you talk about Arizona and Michigan and people saying that this is the national championship, and I completely agree. I watched both of those teams play from start to finish, and they are head and shoulders above every other team that I've seen from start to finish. It doesn't even look that close. Defensively, offensively, these are two teams that can literally do it all. Arizona can play with tempo, and both of these teams, what they have in common is that they're deep rosters. They don't count on one guy to go and get them 15 points and run the whole offense through them. They can score in so many different ways and at different times too. And it seems like whenever they need it, they get it from their guys. Arizona was struggling with Purdue there for a bit. When they went into the half down, and Purdue's a very physical team. They're a team that can really slow the game down because they have big centers and they also have guys that can shoot on the outside. So, once you start to close in on the center, then they start dishing it out, and they can give you problems. And they were giving Arizona problems, and then Arizona decided they could play basketball. And they took over that game. It seems like Arizona's one of those teams too, where once one of their guys starts clicking, the remaining, they go 8 deep, so the remaining 7 decide to start playing also. And it's just hard to keep up with. Because you can't pinpoint anybody. You leave somebody open and they're going to take advantage of it, and they don't miss those opportunities. And, I watch Michigan play, and it's the same thing. They're both teams that can play slow, they can play fast. You take them to the half court, they can run sets, they can take advantage of situations, they find their matchups. That's going to be one hell of a game. I really am looking forward to that game because both of those teams are just so damn good. They're both athletic. They can both push the ball up the court. They have guys that could be household names. Like if you take Elliot Cadeau or Yaxel Lindenberg and you put them on a different roster, you're probably running your entire offense through them. And the same with Arizona. If you put Koa Pete on anybody else, North Carolina State, you're definitely running your offense through that guy. So there's just a lot there in that matchup. And I do believe that whoever wins that game should and will win the national championship. But, Michigan being favored by 1.5 means nothing to me because I think those teams are pretty damn even. That one's going to be really exciting.
1.5 to a basketball game really isn't that. I say that, and then UConn won by 1 point, right? So it just doesn't seem like it's that much. That's interesting. I didn't watch much of what happened. Unfortunately, I just I didn't get to see UConn's win live, which is unfortunate. That's definitely one of those moments that you want to see. Man, learn how to break a press there, Duke. That's they had 2 guys wide open down there, and he the thing what's always told is like don't leave your feet as a dribbler, right? And he didn't have a choice after he went up and tried to go over 2 guys and had the ball down, right? So that's just a bad timing there. But that was something that was always taught is don't leave your feet because once you leave your feet, you've got nowhere to go. So I don't know if they had any time anything left, but Yeah.
He didn't necessarily need to get rid of it. I know he was probably worried about the 8-second call,
Yeah.
but he could have. They were about to foul him. That's what I mean. They weren't
Yeah.
going to get the trap at that point.
Weren't they pretty close to? And they weren't that close to 8 seconds, were they? I mean, I don't. I
No,
mean,
I mean there was 11 seconds left when they started the clock, and by the time that UConn had the ball, they were down to 7.5 seconds. So he had plenty of time to just hold on to it.
I thought about that when I saw that play, and I thought about it. I just thought about how Coach Navarro's two reactions would have been to that. Right, obviously one of breaking the press, and I guess not breaking the press, like falling apart under that press and having that happen. How pissed off he would have been, and then two, stealing it out of making the press actually happen. And then he probably would have acted pretty close to how Dan Hurley reacted. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He would have been, he would definitely would have been fired up. And I mean, those are the pretty cool things that you know at that age you play for. But anyways, what are some key things? I mean, Purdue, you definitely saw. I saw some of that, and you saw as Arizona. You know, just as watching basketball, you saw Arizona really kind of go together and just knock them out. Iowa, you saw the lack of firepower towards the end there. I didn't watch any of the Michigan game. I haven't watched a single minute of Michigan basketball, to be honest with you.
You're missing out.
Like this like them versus Arizona is going to be the first bit of Michigan basketball that I'm going to see. So if I watch this game and they lose, it's my fault. So I'm just saying.
No, Michigan.
What are the biggest things going in to this weekend to you that determine how we're going to see who advance?
I think with the UConn game and the Illinois game, I'm gonna give the nod to UConn because of the same reason that they beat Duke. They just have a veteran group. They have Alex Caravan, who's been there. That kid that shot the ball to win the game was a freshman, but everybody else in that roster has experience. UConn's been to the Final Four before. This is the third time in 4 years, I think.
Yep.
They just have Dan Hurley's a hell of a coach. They know what to expect. They don't play a very sexy style of basketball, but they play a very fundamental and just a smart style of basketball. They don't tend to make a whole bunch of bad mistakes, which typically gets teams when you get too amped up, you get too excited, and then you have a young group. And then they don't waver whenever things start to not go their way. They stick to what they do. They know how to. I mean, watching them chip away against Duke was impressive because at halftime, I told your sister, I was like, this game's pretty much over. I'm gonna go put up some shelves and do whatever else. And I started, and then I came back and checked the score a few minutes later, and they had cut it down to 15. And I'm like, okay, well, this one's still pretty much over. Come back, and it's down to 7. And I'm like, okay, it's starting to get interesting. Come back, and it's down to 5. I'm like, all right. And they keep on chipping away, and you don't see them panic. When you're trying to make a run, you start to press a little bit and just shoot up shit, and they don't do that. They stick to what they do.
And that's when having a team as a whole, especially as a basketball team, not relying on one player, one or two players, but being a true unit really helps you, and you can do it because you stay composed, you stay in the moment. That's something that you always hear is, hey, stay in the moment. Don't get outside of that and just chip away, every rebound becomes that more important, but you make sure that you secure that rebound, every pass is a little crisper, every whatever it is, when you draw up a play, everything's that much better. So for those guys to stay in that moment and not get down when you're down, 19 points and just continue to chip away throughout, that half. I heard a little bit about it. Duke played as, well of a first half as anybody could play. So
yeah,
definitely kudos to UConn. And I'll say Mullins, as I think's that guy, that kid's last name that shot it. That wasn't necessarily, it wasn't a heave, right? He didn't just throw it up there.
No,
It was a jumper. I mean, he had a little umph to it, but it was he stroked that thing, and that was there. So
crazy.
Anyways, yeah.
So with all that being said, I'm gonna give the nod to UConn just because of the experience factor and the way that they can just corral around whatever the opposing team's trying to do. Everybody's got tendencies at one spot or another, and I think Illinois has some obvious tendencies. So I trust UConn in that situation. And then the Arizona and Michigan game, not because of any bias, but I'm going to go with Michigan. They're a young group, but they're also a little bit more. They have more savvy to them than what Arizona does. Arizona has a mix as well. They're not completely young, but for the most part, if I had to give a nod to a team, I'm going to give it to Michigan based on experience. But I don't know. That's tough too because Arizona's probably played stiffer competition throughout the year. Michigan had a tough schedule. I mean, they beat Michigan State. They played Duke. They played Illinois. They played in the Big Ten. So it's hard to really lean one way or another. But I think Michigan. To me, they look slightly better in this tournament. They've dominated everybody, which, could pose a problem because you haven't experienced in the tournament being down at any point. They handled business with Alabama. They handled business with Tennessee. But I think Michigan just at first glance, that's looked like the best team in the country all year long.
Who's Michigan's head coach?
Dusty May.
Okay. Then not long ago they had one of the Fab Five guys.
Yeah, they had Juwan Howard for a good little stretch.
Okay.
And those teams were okay. They had some decent teams. It's Juwan Howard, so you get what you get.
Yeah.
But
what's that mean?
I mean,
is it? Never mind. Okay, so you got UConn and Michigan moving on. Why doesn't Bryce James play for Arizona?
He redshirted. That's how deep that Arizona team is they got McDonald's All-Americans just riding the pine right now because they have freshmen and sophomores they're lotto picks.
I heard Bryce was going to just go to the draft and the Lakers are going to take him with their second-round pick.
You need to stop reading all that nonsense.
That's what I hear. Hey, we have to say stupid shit so we can go viral. That's how you go viral. It's like saying Tim Duncan can't play in today's league and he's terrible.
I saw that. That was hilarious.
Some stupid shit right there. Is all
it made sense to me. I mean, I think they had really good points there because I don't think he could. I mean, he couldn't shoot. He wasn't a shooter. Defensively, he wasn't that good. And then, I mean, he rebounds. I mean, I don't know.
Like, nobody was scared about, hey, I have to guard Tim Duncan. What a dumbass. I really, it's just to actually go viral, you just need to say stupid shit so people are like, oh my God, look at this. And then you get all these freaking
just set a bunch of people off.
Yeah, it's just stupid. Just whatever you can do to piss somebody off and then not whatever. But anyways.
Does Duke losing to UConn, does that hurt Mike Krzyzewski's legacy because he coached John Shire and then mentored him? Do you think that's? I mean,
I don't see how it hurts. I don't see how it hurts his legacy because he already, it's the talk that everybody's had is that look how many talented players Duke has had and what has it produced. You go all the way back to R.J. Barrett and Jason Tatum. You had Cooper Flag last year, and they weren't able to do it. And then you had, Kyrie Irving's been on there. Kyrie was a Duke guy, right? And then you have Zion Williamson, and you have, continue. When's the last time Duke won a national championship?
I'm trying to think of the bunch that won it.
I couldn't tell you. So I think that there's been so many talented teams. I think the Cooper Flag team last year is an easy one for everybody to remember because they look like they were head and heels, more talented than their competition. And they were. They just didn't play as a team, and it was a lot of young kids and going through that. You see Flag going through that now in the NBA, right, where the Mavericks are. But, I mean, you even just go back, like I said, R.J. Barrett's of the world and all those other, Miles is it Bradley, whatever his name was, Junior?
Oh, Marvin Bagley.
Mm-hmm. Marvin Bagley, there you go. I mean, he was on those teams too and all that. So
I definitely think that there's something obvious to me at this point about, getting these lotto picks. I think Coach Cal messed it up for everybody that 1 year at Kentucky when he had Anthony Davis because everybody thought that was the answer after that. He was able to do it one time and everybody's tried to recreate it. But when you think about these teams that actually go out and win it, they're they're guys that have been there before. They're guys that are, were superstars, maybe just not completely emerged, and they come back for a second year. It's the teams
Yeah.
with the sophomores and the juniors that have
But if you
an advantage.
you run into this it's the NIL era now too, even more so than ever, right? And you run into it in all college sports of if you're a coach, or if you're an athletic director, or say now a GM of one of these, schools in this respective sport, you may not get a multiple years to get this thing right. So it's not like, hey, I've developed these players and now we're competing for a national championship in year 3 or 4 versus 1 or 2, when guys are like, okay, well, we can go get relevant right now, spend money. And basketball is the one sport you can do it more than any other sport, is get a one and done on a kid that's coming out of high school, be really good, be relevant, but maybe not get over that hump, so to speak. And as a basketball coach, you're just trying to say, hey, I made it to the Sweet 16. I can keep a job, right?
Yeah.
You're not necessarily, I have to win, the national championship. I need to make it to the Sweet 16 at least, so that I can say, hey, I keep our team in contention, right? If you look at, I mean, Tom Izzo's done more than that in the past, but Tom Izzo, so to speak, Rick Barnes, he's they've made it to the Sweet 16 the past how many years in a row, and Tennessee really went all in and got him over there from Texas before that. But I think basketball is one of those where it's like, hey, one and done's a lot easier. And Coach K is one of those guys that I was listening to Dan Patrick. He had him on. I think I played that while we were in here. Coach K was like, I'd rather have the one and done guy versus somebody I got to develop, because it's just, you're not going to get that long leash in college sports anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you see it in the football side too, right? You get 2, maybe 3 years, and if you're not producing, if you're not at the top of your conference, no matter what that, if that checkbook's getting spent by those sports boosters, they're not gonna, you're not
They're
gonna
not
get
waiting
it.
around.
No, they're not waiting around. So
I mean, the clearest example of that is Hubert Davis at North Carolina. I mean, he was what, 3 years into it, and that's North Carolina. They've had two coaches over like the last 60 years,
yeah,
and
yeah. I mean,
3 years
yeah,
in, they said this is enough of this shit.
yeah. And then you see the news articles of Jordan's going to help pick up the next pick the next coach or whatever, right? Was how much influence does somebody like that have on the team, right? Because I'm sure Jordan would donate his fair share of money to North Carolina Tar Heels on that basketball program. So,
Yep.
anyway, but yeah. So, all right, Emilio's UConn and Michigan, take it to the bank, put it in the bank along with his baseball picks that he's got there. And just parlay it all together for this weekend. Speaking of basketball, we'll keep with it. We were going to talk about around the NBA a little bit. Before we got on here, we were talking about that the MVP race heating up, and you were talking about everybody saying offensively he doesn't bring enough. Well, Wemby helped the Spurs extend their team win streak to 9, as he dropped 41 points, 16 rebounds, and 3 blocks tonight.
Dang.
So
look at him making his case.
he came out here and he cooked them, as to speak. I didn't know that was going to go to a highlight. The Spurs beat the Bulls 129-114. I think this is the second game in a row the Spurs have scored 129 points on the dot. So the Spurs are rolling right now. They are, they scored 127 in the last game. Sorry.
They're on
Man,
what,
if you look at the Spurs last, call it so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Last 6 of 7 games, they've scored 123 points plus. They scored 132, and then they scored 101. Then it was 134, 136, 123, 127, and then 129. So they are
they're
feeling
clicking.
pretty good right now. They're clicking. So let's hope that they can keep that going. Right now, they sit 2 games back of the Thunder in the West, followed by the Lakers, who are 10.5 games back of the Spurs. The Nuggets at 4, Timberwolves at 5, Rockets at 6, Suns at 7, Clippers at 8, Trailblazers 9, and then the Warriors 10, who have that 10 spot locked and loaded, as they're not dropping out of that. And then on the Eastern side, you have the Pistons in the 1, followed by the Celtics, who are 4.5 games back. Then the Knicks Cavaliers, Raptors, Hawks, 76ers, Magic, Heat, and then Hornets, who have that 10th seed locked up. As they have a 9.5 game lead over the Bucks for that seed. So, anyways, MVP race is heating up. SGA, it seems like Luka's dropped out of it, so it's really a 3-man race between Wemby, SGA, and Nokovic. Do you have any thoughts on this? I haven't kept up with it as I should. So,
No, I mean, all signs are pointing to SGA getting it. That's the sexy pick, I guess, for the people. I mean, at this point, obviously my pick would have been Luka, but whenever you're getting suspended for too many technicals, the league's not going to make you the MVP. That's just kind of obvious at this point. So I don't really want to see SGA win it. Not because I don't think he's a good player or anything like that, but I mean, when half of your points are scored at the free throw line, I don't really like to include that. I know it's part of the game, and I know he's getting fouled most of the time. Some of the time it seems like a pretty loose whistle.
you're a gosh damn hater.
I'm not a hater. I mean, what are we saying? He shoots more free throws than just about anybody else. So,
I saw a stat between him and Jalen Brunson because the Knicks and Thunder played last night. It was like how many combined points they had because of free throw shot.
yeah,
It's ridiculous.
It's a ridiculous amount. So, I don't care for the Spurs, but at this point, I want it to be Wemby if somebody's going to win it, because at least at that point, it's a guy that plays the game of basketball to its full totality and has a major impact on his team. Not that SGA doesn't, but I would like it. Let's get back to basketball and not just who can score the most points.
Yeah.
And Jokic is good too, but his team's just not they're not what they've been.
No, the Nuggets have fallen off, it seems. But you have a center that's averaging a triple-double on the season. I mean,
It's impressive. It is impressive.
that's pretty hard to turn away and be like, no, it's not that big of a deal. So,
And
um,
there's a very obvious drop off whenever he's in the game compared to when he goes to the bench. They are a bad team when he goes to the bench.
yes, that's not good. Playoff basketball is going to bite you in the ass there. Hey, before we get off of just college and basketball altogether, well, I guess we're going to stay on college because we're going to do college football. This is a good little segment transition into here. So LSU, I don't know if you've seen this report. LSU has committed over $200 million to Lane Kiffin and Will Wade's programs through buyouts, contracts, and roster payrolls this year. So basically, succeeding in college athletics in 2026 means spending a lot on coaches, and no school knows better than LSU. So with the addition of new football coach Lane Kiffin and new basketball coach Will Wade, the Tigers have now combined more than $200 million to their football and basketball program through buyouts, contracts, and roster payrolls. So, Kiffin left Ole Miss for LSU. Obviously, he signed a 7-year, $91 million deal. The deal includes bonuses that could make him the highest paid coach in the country. And then LSU hired Wade on Thursday after he spent just one season with NC State. He reportedly signed a 7-year, $30 million deal. So he'll be he coached with the Tigers from 2017 to 2022, but lost the gig after a notice of recruiting violations. And then he went to McNeese State from 23 to 25 and led the Cowboys to the NCAA tournament twice. So there's twofold here. How much money is too much money? And then at the same time, we've talked about it with Lane Kiffin. Now we're going to talk about with Will Wade, with him moving away from NC State in one season. What is this? How critical can we be on college students for wanting to get as much money as they can maximum right now in the NIL deal, and then also transferring when coaches are, being willy-nilly at their approach when they move along from people?
Yeah, I mean, how much money is too much money? I guess if it just depends. If LSU goes out and they win a national championship in both sports, then maybe it wasn't enough money, because the return on it's going to be massive, especially if they're dominant, if they're exciting, if they bring a lot of ass to the seats. I mean, there's no such thing as too much. Obviously, if you don't do those things, I think that's the crux to all this, is if you go out and you don't win a national championship, in my mind, you spent a shit ton of money for no reason, because there's going to be a team that didn't spend nearly as much as you did, and they're going to win a national championship, and you look like a dipshit after that.
Is there some kind of like great reset, right? Is LSU, could they be on the verge of either they're going to do this and continue to change the sport, or are they going to do this and then everybody's going to go, hold on, pump the brakes, right? And then it's going to reset everything, so to speak. I mean, I guess it's 50-50. We're not going to know until everything plays out, right? Or is that just like, hey, you know what? Screw it. We messed up, like a Jimbo Fisher kind of deal. Let's keep going and find somebody else, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of tough for LSU in particular because they kind of already did that with Brian Kelly. I mean,
Yeah,
half
you're
of
right.
this
You're right.
200 million is, them playing stupid games and winning stupid prizes.
Correct.
It's I don't know, man. They're at a tough spot. I think college sports as a whole is in a strange position right now because, to your point, there's no loyalty anywhere, which is, in my mind, a large portion of what brought people to college sports. You had this loyalty that was based solely on, I'm an alumni, that's my school, that's my team. Whether we win 12 games or we win 2 games, that's my team. I'm going ride or die with them. And now it's turned into, if I donate half my money, y'all better win, and if not, then I want the next guy in here. And the same goes for the kids. I mean, what's convincing anybody to stay at a program when the guy that's telling you need to stay at the program is also not doing it? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's hard to
And
blame the kids, and it's hard to blame the coaches if people are going to keep throwing money at them like that. I mean, hell, how
yeah,
dumb are you if you don't take 200 million?
1000%. I mean, I look at it in my life, you put it in your perspective and you're like, okay, hey, if you're here and you like what you're doing or whatever, but then somebody comes and offers you, 5 times what you're making. I mean, it's like at some point you got to look at it and be like, hey, I'm going to do better for myself and whatever, my family. Now it factors in, okay, hey, it's LSU versus Ole Miss. I mean, I think both of them are attractive programs to go coach for, right? But I guess it's LSU definitely is a little more attractive than Ole Miss, but it's just I've been a major component of giving crap to college athletes for you know uh, doing it, and then moving on. And you've heard other people. I mean, I remember an interview with Troy Aikman. He's basically like, why am I going to go give money to UCLA for a kid that's going to, take the money and then next year he's going to be gone? And then it's the same thing as not Carson Palmer. It was Matt Leinart. He won't unretire number 11 just to give it to one recruit who's going to play for a year and then go on.
Right.
So you take all those things. You're talking about tradition. You're talking about money. And there's people that don't want to be involved in it, and maybe some other people that do want to be involved in it. So it's definitely a limbo there as far as everything that's going on. So
They did a very, very bad job of not putting any sort of structure before letting this all break loose.
yeah,
I mean, that's the core issue here is that there was no rules, and now it's like, how do you put rules on it now whenever you let Pandora's box open?
yep, yep. So
Trying to reel it in now, you look like an asshole.
yeah, yeah. So so out of that 200 million, the full overhaul is pushing in there quarter billion. Once the buyouts are included, right? Brian Kelly, like you mentioned, still owed $54 million. Matt McMahon cost more than $8 million to fire, and LSU also paid $7 million to get Wade and Kiffin out of their previous jobs at their position. So Wade is going to get $30 million over the next 7 years, and is reportedly expected to have a $12 million roster budget next year.
Jeez
So
Louise. Did you see how he resigned from North Carolina State?
I didn't, man. I don't even know who the hell this guy is, to be honest with you. So
His agent sent the AD an email telling him he was resigning.
wow, what a chicken shit. That's chicken shit right there. That really is. How pathetic. You
Isn't
can't
that
even
something?
you can't even be man enough to call and be like, hey, look, I'm getting, $30 million for LSU. I'm sorry, Bubba. Like, I'm out of here. Look, straight up, if that was me and somebody said, hey, you know what, we're going to give you $30 million, the next 7 years, but, you got to go clean toilets, I'd call somebody up and I'd be like, hey, look, I really hate to be a freaking toilet cleaner, but it's
It's
$30
$30
million.
million.
I'm going, and I only got to work 7 years, and I'm done. So, So, anyways, but at least be man about it. So, anyways, all right. So, since we're talking about college, I sent this to you last night. I think it was when I saw ESPN came out with it. Now they've come out with two different deals here. And one of them was for a top 10 SEC quarterbacks, is what I originally got started with. And it's since 2000. And the list went Cam Newton, Tim Tebow, Joe Burrow, Johnny Manziel, Jaden Daniels, Bryce Young, Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Hurts, Bo Nix, and then Diego Pavia. I put a little a reel out there where I was talking to it like an influencer in the background, and continue on it. But then they went and put ESPN's top 50 quarterbacks of the 2000s. So basically since 2000. And you looked at this, Emilio. This is all quarterbacks combined. This is their careers that they're taking into effect here. What do you want me to do? 20 to 1? Do you want me to do, I'm not going to do 50 to 1 because
No.
that's just too much to talk. 10 to 1, what do you think for the
Let's
viewers?
do 10 to 1. I don't have a problem with. They're in the wrong spot, but let's do 20 to 1.
Okay, so I'm going to go from number 20 to number 1 here, so follow with me. So at number 20, you've got Jaden Daniels, then Andrew Luck, Matt Leinart, Jameis Winston, Sam Bradford, Kellen Moore, Fernando Mendoza, number 13, Johnny Manziel, Colt McCoy, Trevor Lawrence. Going into the top 10, starting at number 10, you've got Robert Griffin III, Marcus Mariota, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Joe Burrow, Tim Tebow at 4. Top 3 is Vince Young, Cam Newton. Number 1, Baker Mayfield. So you're saying you don't have a problem with 1 through 10. There are a few problems in there that I'm going to pick. When you saw this the first time when I sent it to you, I'm sure that your reaction was my reaction. But what was it?
Really, what the hell is Kellen Moore doing on the list? He should be
That was
bottom.
not what my thought was, but
And then
Kellen
also,
Moore,
why is Johnny Manziel at 13?
where are you putting him?
Well, definitely above Kyler Murray at 7, and
Well,
above
yeah, that I've got a
Deshaun
problem
Watson.
with that. Yeah, and Baker Mayfield at number 1. Now, I'm going to catch a lot of slack for that because Mayfield did throw for 14,000 yards. They're looking at this as a career. He took Oklahoma to the playoffs twice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he does have a resume that is, it can challenge others, but I don't think that even if you were to look at this and you said, hey, okay, what's the one quarterback on this list truly, if you had, you were starting a program, right? And they're like, hey, you get to go pay a quarterback. Which one are you truly taking?
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow, so you're going to take as a college football quarterback.
I mean, that's a tough one because he had a hell of a roster. Let me rethink that because I'm thinking of what Joe Burrow did that year.
Yeah. I mean, because if you're going 1 year, Cam Newton's 1 year is more impressive than Joe Burrow's. Really, if you looked at it and stacked it up with the talent that Joe Burrow had versus Cam Newton, there's a big difference there. And I'm not taking anything away from what Joe Burrow had. That 2019 LSU Tigers team was fantastic, and Joe Burrow, he did great. But that's, you got to take it all into account.
When I take it all into account, when I look at this list, there's one guy that, I mean, he convinced me to like a team I didn't even like.
Go for it.
It's Vince Young.
Yeah.
Vince Young was nasty. I mean, he was nasty.
Yep. Yep. So if you look at it, let's say, so Vince Young, he had 6,000 passing yards, 44 touchdowns, 28 interceptions, 3,100 rushing yards, and 37 rushing touchdowns. If you look back and you think of Vince Young, really, if you look back at that 04 season, he was benched a little bit. And then he came back in. They went on a run. They go to the Rose Bowl. They beat Michigan on a field goal, right? And then the iconic, we'll be back kind of deal. And then they go on the run in 05, and they just, steamroll everybody. I mean, they steamroll everybody onto the national championship game between them and USC. And then he has that historic, performance 4th and 5, national championship on the line. Young's got the going for the corner. He's got it. I mean, one of the most iconic sports calls in the history of sports, right? And one of the greatest games, probably the greatest national championship game of all time. That was huge. I have some other big problems here. Deshaun Watson being up here, Kyler Murray being up here is an absolute disgrace. I mean, I think. I mean, he can be in the top 100, but he is not in the top 10. Lamar Jackson had a decent Marcus Mariota. Robert Griffin was pretty good. I think Colt McCoy at 12 is criminal.
That's criminal.
Absolutely criminal.
You
and
know what
I'm
else
not a Corn fan, but that is criminal.
The more I think about it, too, Matt Leinart being down at 18.
Yes.
Matt Leinart has one of the best college football careers, arguably,
Yep.
top 5 guy.
He went 37-2 over 3 seasons, and he won 2 national titles. Now, everybody's going to say, oh, he had Reggie Bush, he had a great, defense and all that kind of stuff. You have to do that to be a great, team. But Matt Leinart itself, I mean, he threw for over 10,000 yards, 99 touchdowns to 23 interceptions, and then added another 9 rushing touchdowns. 99 passing touchdowns in 3 freaking years.
That's absurd.
That is absurd.
And to the point of, you got Reggie Bush. Yeah, that's great. But also for him to go and get 99 touchdowns and have Reggie Bush in the backfield to take up half the offense, I mean,
yep,
that's crazy.
Yep, no, 1,000%. I think also too, Case Keenum, yes, he played for Houston. That was a smaller one. He's back here at number 28. But the old boy, 4 years for Houston. I mean, he threw for 19,000 passing yards. He's the leading, passer in NCAA history in a career, which fine. And he threw for 155 touchdowns. So, yes, it was for Houston. I get it. But Keenum, he did play some tough competition at one point or another. And that's, that's not to be taken lightly. You've got Bo Nix at 30. Bo Nix does not belong at 30. I mean, I'm going to keep going back, and I'm just like, hey, I'm just thinking about these. You got Russell Wilson, the Pat White disrespect.
Pat White at 32 is crazy.
Yeah, Pat White at 32. I mean, he doesn't have, his numbers don't stack up. But if you're going to compare a one-on-one season to anybody, Pat White and that offense was, they were some dogs. You know what I mean? That's that is crazy. Graham Harrell at 41. Talk about somebody that could sling the rock. I mean, Graham Harrell could sling the rock, man.
I think the one that makes me the maddest is Colt Brennan at 49. Are you sure?
That is disrespectful, too.
Colt Brennan was a dog.
Yeah, I mean, and then they played some competition and got dog walked there, but Colt Brennan could throw the football, too. Colt Brennan, Colin Klein was a great quarterback. Now, you look at his stats, he had 4,700 passing yards. That is, that's hard to come up with. But even you look down a little lower, and you got Chase Daniels, who was a great quarterback in his own right. 3 years, had 101 passing touchdowns. I mean, Chase Daniels with that Missouri team, they were a threat, and they had some really good teams there at another point. But I mean, going back down to this, you've got Tim Tebow at number 4. If you're going to look at, okay, hey, who, quarterback wise, and you're saying Baker Mayfield had a better career than Tim Tebow in college, you are absolutely kidding yourself. Okay, he threw for 5,000 more passing yards. Baker Mayfield played in the era of the Big 12 where they were just throwing the football around. There was no defense whatsoever. I mean, he got over there and he just slung the football around. That's great. But Tim Tebow, he still had, 9,200 yards passing, 88 touchdowns to only 16 interceptions, another 2,900 rushing yards on the ground with 57 rushing touchdowns. He was the heart and soul of that Florida Gators team. Now, they had talent all over the board, but if you take Tim Tebow out of that equation, they're not doing what they did. They needed somebody there to guide that team and push them forward. Right now, you had a bunch of crazy people out of their minds that were doing you watch all the bullshit, the 30 for 30s and all that kind of stuff that they have. But Tebow was the thing that made that made that engine go. So to have Tebow at number 4, I would put Tebow at number 1. I mean, that's just, I'm not saying college quarterback, he is the best since 2000. Straight up, he's the best college quarterback since 2000. And you can take, Joe Burrow and Baker Mayfield and Cam Newton, they could all throw a better ball than him. But quarterback in college is more than throwing a football.
Right.
And, you can take that from Cam Newton too, who had you're right. He only threw for 2,900 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, ran for another 1,500 with 24 rushing touchdowns. Right. So Cam Newton he had 6 less rushing touchdowns than he did passing touchdowns. So, I mean, there's something to be said there. And Vince Young is the same way. He had 44 rushing touchdowns. He had 44 passing, he had 37 rushing touchdowns. Like, at some point, you have to look at all this stuff and say, hey, what do they do? Colt McCoy, he's going to get disrespected. If he doesn't get taken out of that game against Bama, how does that change? I think it changes a little bit. I'm not necessarily saying Texas wins, but he threw for 112, touchdowns, 45 interceptions. Colt McCoy was a dog too. You can look at Kellen Moore. I know you're talking crap about Kellen Moore, but he threw for 142 passing touchdowns with 28 interceptions only. So there's a lot to be said here, and I just think it's wildly disrespectful to have Mayfield at number 1. And yeah,
And
Mayfield's top 10. If he was top 10 somewhere in there, I wouldn't be upset. But where he's at right now.
What is Dylan Gabriel doing above Jason White? Jason White was a dog.
Did he win a Heisman?
Jason White? No,
Yeah.
He was a runner-up to Matt Leinart.
Okay.
Actually, I think he did win a Heisman.
I think Jason White won the Heisman. Yeah.
Yeah. Jason White was good.
I think there's a lot of recency bias here, and a lot of these guys do have more stats, and it's just like the NFL now. I mean, guys you're throwing the ball more; it's more passer friendly, and it's just and different quarterbacks. It's a Tebow thing too, right? Different quarterbacks are asked to do different things, but
that's a terrible list.
Tebow, it's a terrible list. I think ESPN whoever made it should be fired. And yeah.
That's a horrible list.
That's a horrible list. Say something stupid so we can go viral.
I mean, this is the most ridiculous shit I've ever seen.
I don't know if that's going to get it done.
Jordan Lynch isn't even on this list.
Jordan Lynch. Hey, man. Peyton Lynch. That was his name, right? The one that Jerry almost – or that they wanted the Cowboys.
Lynch.
Paxton Lynch. There you go. Sorry. Paxton Lynch. Anyways.
Paxton Lynch. Hell, this is nuts to me. And am I crazy in thinking that Matthew Stafford played in the 2000s?
He did play in the 2000s.
He's not even in the top 50. What are we saying?
He's not in the top 50. No. Let me see. I have the actual list pulled up here. Let me see how far it is. This thing goes all the way to 99, so after 50. So Brian Leftwich, Eric Couch, Brady Quinn's at 53.
That's criminal.
See, Brady Quinn's at 53. Excuse me. Eli Manning's at 54. Gosh, he's not even here. Okay, here, hold on. I'm going to give you this name. So you've got Kyle Trask at 56.
Why?
And you got Bernard Robinson at 58, okay? And then let's see who comes after that. Let me see. Let me find Patrick Mahomes at 66, which, I mean, he was in college. It wasn't like he was crazy great, but Aaron Rodgers is 68.
Aaron Rodgers had a hell of a college career.
Andy Dalton is 73.
Andy Dalton had a hell of a college career.
AJ McCarron is 76.
Okay, see, AJ McCarron, if we're talking about college quarterbacks, AJ McCarron was a dog.
Yeah. Yep. Dude, even Brandon Weeden at 80. He was Dak Prescott 81. Dak Prescott was pretty dang good in college for Mississippi State quarterback. I mean, really.
Where's Bo Wallace on this list? Because if Bo Wallace isn't in the top 100, I'm pissed.
Dude, I hadn't even gotten to. I don't see Matt Stafford on this list.
Why?
Yeah, I don't see Matt Stafford. They got Matt Ryan at 85, which, yeah, it's just,
okay. I mean, I think Matt Ryan was better than Landry Jones, but that's to be debated.
Landry Jones was up here in the 50s.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Man, I can't find Matthew Stafford anywhere.
They have
I
Aaron
can't believe
Murray on this
I
list.
can't
Not
believe Brady Quinn was at 53, dude. 11,762 passing yards, 95 touchdowns, 39 interceptions. I mean, Brady Quinn was a dog, man.
Brady Quinn was
He was
good.
great.
He could spin
Yeah,
it.
there's no Matthew Stafford on this list.
That's nuts. Aaron Murray made the list and not Matthew Stafford. That seems like
Aaron Murray was a good
you
ball
know,
player.
he was, but he wasn't Matthew Stafford.
13,000 passing yards, 121 touchdowns, 41 interceptions, 16 rushing touchdowns. I'm pretty sure that I mean, they almost went to the national championship then. I think he holds the most passing yards in Georgia history.
Aaron Murray.
Yeah.
I'd believe that. You know who else is missing off this list?
Who's that?
Should probably be in the top 10.
Who's that?
Shador Sanders.
No, my gosh. He is not far enough down this list. He's at 80. He's at 87, securely right behind Carson Beck.
And Kyle Allen? I mean, no Kyle Allen? Are we kidding?
Oh my gosh, that guy was terrible.
Reggie
He should have been.
Ball?
He should have been playing on the rec fields with us. Yeah, he should have been playing with us. Yeah. So, anyways, Stetson Bennett at 44 too. That's not very nice. But Graham Harrell's too low. I mean, you got Colin Kaepernick in here at 38. Like, come on. Diego Pop.
Something about that.
No, I know. Well, I mean, he played at Nevada. Like, he did not play that tough a competition. If you're gonna hit somebody for playing at freaking Houston, you need to take a harder hit for somebody playing at Nevada. I mean, come on. They weren't even. Was he in the MAC at that point, or was it the WAC?
The WAC
that he was in. It was the WAC, right? That Nevada was in at that point, that far long ago. I mean, geez, Louise. So,
no Chad Henne? Are we kidding?
I think he was up there. No, he wasn't up there. I'm not going back through that list. But if you have Bo Nix at 30, and I mean Aaron Murray. I mean, come on, like.
Yeah, this list has a lot of problems. It's got a lot of problems.
I mean, you're saying that Dylan Gabriel is a better football player, quarterback than Carson Palmer in college. Like, shut the fuck up. Like,
better than Pat White. Are you kidding?
He had 155 touchdowns. Like, great over his career. Look where he played: UCF, Oklahoma, Oregon, and he wasn't that great at Oklahoma during that stretch. Like, he lit it up at Oregon because they have wide ass open offense. And they just torch people, but whatever. I mean,
for all the Oregon quarterbacks they have on here, they don't even have the best one, in my opinion.
Who?
Dennis Dixon.
Oh, Dennis Dixon. I remember him. Yep. That was when they were some thugs up there.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I will say, too, Jameis Winston at 17 is pretty criminal.
That's a problem.
Jameis had one of the best one season years. One season. If you look at one single season, he had one of the best ones that you can have. Won the Heisman, national championship. Like, he was really good that year. He was tough to stop. So, yeah, Fernando Mendoza at 14. I think there's some real recency bias there with that as well.
Sam Bradford at 16 is that's kind of funny.
Yeah, he was good.
He was good
in high school, college. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence at 11. Stuff. I think. Yeah.
Andrew Luck at 19 is pretty wild to me too.
That is too. Andrew Luck was.
He was good.
I mean, he was a damn good ball player. Kyler Murray at 7 pisses me off. That pisses me off, dude. He couldn't play down. He had 5,400 passing yards, and they've got him at that. I don't know. That's
It's a lot of trash on this list.
It was right after Baker, and it was in that same freaking little era, where the Big 12 was wide open. And if he had sat down and said it, or a Kyler Murray fan said it, they'd be like, "Oh, well, at A&M, he never really got the opportunity and he didn't fit in the scheme. They gave him the goddamn opportunity. They recruited him heavily, came in, and it was your offense, and then he squandered it. Like he did not take that opportunity and run with it. So yeah, I mean, and he's talented. He's played in the NFL. He's been there for what, close to 10 years now, probably. Well, he left in 18, so 6 years, somewhere in there. Probably played in 19, so 6-7 years. Like he's got talent. So, anyways, but whatever. Man, we've been going for a little while here. Hour 20. You want to talk about Tiger Woods real quick? You want to save it?
Tiger. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy that somebody can have all that money and can't call an Uber.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know it, I mean, so the thing is the middle of the day. It was 2:00 in the afternoon, and Tiger Woods went and he was out for a drive and he flipped his car. And as soon as I saw that report,
you knew he
it's
was
like,
drinking.
okay, here we are again. Well, he wasn't drinking. He had no alcohol in his system, but he refused a urine test and he refused a blood test, and they booked him for DUI. More than likely, if you saw the mugshots, you saw the picture afterwards of him getting in the car and leaving, you knew that there was something wrong. You could see it in his eyes. And not to get all sad and soppy, but man, to see somebody like that was really inspirational and growing up, and watching somebody like that was bigger in life. It seemed like, right, to be at this point. That's tough. And since I saw a stat since 1996, Tiger has as many DUIs as the Cowboys have playoff wins, and that's 4. That's 4. So,
you want it all serious clip is right there.
But in all seriousness, I really hope that Tiger gets some help, and somebody close to him can reach out and be like, hey, even if they get you kicked out of the circle or whatever, I mean, let them know, hey, like there's some help and whatnot. I mean, it's I think at this point, when you have somebody that's been going through that, and he probably won't get charged with anything, you know what I mean, because he's rich and he's got good lawyers and all that. But I mean, it's definitely, he's lucky he hadn't killed himself, and even luckier he hasn't killed somebody else at this point, right? I hate to get somber and all that about it, but I think somebody was talking about it, and his wife or his girlfriend has kids, right? So what if he was driving his kids at 2:00 in the so anyways, I hope Tiger gets some help. He played in that TGL golf tournament. He hit a couple shots on Friday. It was the championship game, and a lot of people tuned in because it's Tiger. And then there was some rumors about him wanting to play at Augusta. He went and walked Augusta the other day and was going to play in the Masters potentially. And I think you could say that's all but shot now, of him going and playing that. It's unfortunate because, Father's Time's undefeated, and it's already been really hard on him to compete. And if he can't do it this year, each year is a fleeting year. And, I don't know if he wanted to play on the senior tour or whatever, but, each year that goes by, it's just going to be that much harder to try to do it. So unfortunate for Tiger. Somebody that was bigger in life. So
you think all that goes back to him becoming so famous so young?
It could be. I mean, I think a lot of it too is he's had a lot of surgeries. The last time that he wrecked a car, he broke his leg in multiple places too. And then he's had those back surgeries and stuff. And I think that, a lot of people, when they get, used to those pains and they get those prescribed those pain medicines and all that, and, him being so rich, and, there's been, Florida doesn't necessarily have the greatest reputation for their doctors and how they prescribe things, I think that you can get addicted to some of that stuff, and then maybe it does have, maybe he's quit the drinking, but he's getting on some kind of, pain medicine, painkillers and this and that. And I don't know. It could be. I mean, I think, it's probably during his younger times, he's got a lot of yes men that walk around him too and just tell him what he wants to hear. And yeah, so probably so. It's unfortunate, man. Just somebody that was bigger in life that looked up to, and I mean, don't necessarily not look up to, but it's harder to. I mean, if you see the image of him getting, in the passenger seat leaving the jail, I mean, it's it's not the greatest golfer in the world, or of all time. That's just a sad human being, I guess. Really. Yeah. So, anyways,
get better, Tiger.
We hope nothing but the best, buddy. Get better. Stay away from there. Hope the Cowboys increase their playoff wins before you increase another DWI. So I knew you'd like that one. That's why I threw it.
That was rich, man. That was rich.
Loved it. Yeah. So, anyways, guys, if you're still with us, we greatly appreciate it. We've been going at this for a while, so I think we've about covered all the bases that we want to for this episode. We will be back, TBD. So we'll be back, but we will have a lot to break down. We're going to continue to have, MLB baseball that's going to be going through. We'll have the Final Four reaction at some point. We're going to break down into NBA, playoff talk. We have college football spring practice that's going to be coming around. We're going to be talking about next episode. We'll break down some SEC quarterback play and some buy or sell. Looking at that because it's spring and it's going to be April. And why not talk about college football, man? There's always room for it. And then also as we get into April, I think we're going to put out a mock draft, right?
Yeah.
We've been talking about it. And I think we're going to put our heads together and we're going to put together the official in-law and out of bounds mock draft for the world to see. So we just got to put the pen to paper. This is the biggest thing. So anyways, but yeah, you got anything for the folks before we sign off there?
No, everybody, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, we appreciate it, guys. Make sure, let us know if Emilio should put in a little betting segment here. If you want to hear it. There's a disclaimer that nothing of the advice that you get here should you do or not. It's just for fun, right? So
right.
I don't know how to say that properly. Yeah, big disclaimer.
If you lose your money, it's on you.
It's on you. Yeah, we are not pressing that submit button for you. It's just fun recommendations. That's all. So, anyways, but yeah. So we appreciate you and everybody that's listening. Make sure to tell a friend, subscribe, and like the podcast, and hopefully give us a 5-star rating. And go follow us on social medias, and go make sure that you check out Brewster Bird Hunts and follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Check them out at www.brewsterbirdhunts.com. And we appreciate you guys, and we will be back with more sports breakdown and talk and beer drinking and all that good stuff. So we're good. Know that Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior. As we come upon here to Christmas, he will rise, and he is going to be risen once again. All that good stuff. So Jesus is the light, the way. If you need somebody to look for, look no further than him, and he will guide you. So anyways, guys, we appreciate it. We'll catch you next time. This has been episode 42 of In-Laws and Out of Bounds. Peace.